I want to meddle a little bit in this weekly update. I want to ask you to think about something that maybe is uncomfortable to think about, and that is, I want you to think about how you show up to Sunday worship. Kevin Eastep, when he was leading our confession of sin this past Sunday, we were confessing the coldness of our love for God, and he made some comment like, sometimes I'm more excited about a football game than I am about showing up for worship. And it got me thinking, think about how you prepare for something that requires intentionality. Going to a sporting event, for instance, you might put on some team gear. Maybe you leave early because parking is going to be kind of a challenge. I'm going to need to leave time to get into the arena, and then you got to remember whatever you might need for the event. And I was just thinking about when I go to a football game, there's a certain amount of intentionality behind that. I have to plan ahead for that. And yet sometimes when I show up for church on Sunday mornings, I'm not approaching it that same way. There's not a ton of intentionality behind it. And I want to encourage you to think about how you show up for Sunday worship, how you prepare to come to church on Sundays. Do you spend any time sort of posturing your heart in the right frame of mind? Do you spend any time just sort of getting your thoughts focused on God? Do you even think about how can you show up in a way that expects God to meet you? Our expectations a lot of times determine our experience. And one of my longings for us as a church is that we would just continue to treat Sundays as something meaningful and significant, not as an afterthought, not as something we're rolling into at the last minute, but in a way that expects that we're here to meet with God, we're here to encounter one another, we're here to serve others in the name of Christ. And I want to encourage you to show up with that kind of a mindset. I also want to encourage you in one way, as long as I'm meddling, why not go a little further? Every week we ask you to slide together, and then none of you actually do that. And so this is my appeal to you. Hey, when whoever's leading liturgy says, hey, if there's an empty seat next to you, go ahead and move, feel free to do that. What we want is to leave space on the aisles. As you know, the room is full, and it continues to be full, and that's not going to change anytime soon. So please do try to make space on the aisles for folks who are coming in late. You're going to have to sit next to another human being. It's good for you. Let's love one another. Let's sit near one another. Let's make the most of our time and our space together on Sunday mornings. So I hope that as we roll into the second half of January, you show up with a greater degree of intentionality and expectation, and with a sense of heart posture, ready to meet with Christ and ready to serve the people around you in the name of Christ. I enjoy being with you every Sunday, and I'm especially looking forward to next Sunday as we kick off a new preaching series in the prophet Daniel, an Old Testament prophet that is both interesting and sometimes perplexing. We'll dive into it next Sunday, and I'll see you then for another weekly update.